Hi there, I'm Dr. Francesca Zampollo, and in this video I want to talk about oversized food or magnified food. I thought about this because I saw a YouTube channel again, which is probably one of my favorite, and I saw another video lately, and I started thinking about this, and then I connected it to one of my favorite chefs in the world, probably my favorite chef in the world, Heston Blumenthal, and I just linked the dots, and I want to talk to you about that. So the YouTube video that I'm talking about is Veg Village Food. I will put a link in the description below. And I love it because in every video there is this lady, this grandma. I think she is the grandmother of the guy, the person who is making the videos. And in each video she cooks these huge portions of food, which, if I understand correctly, are then donated to the people in the village where this lady lives. So I don't know if we watch just one. So the reason why I love these videos is because there is always, well, first of all, the grandma is lovely, and there's just they're just beautifully made, and you can feel that there is a love happening in this preparation of this food. But mainly it's because of the amount of food that they cook all the time. And there are always these huge pots where she cooks this huge amount of food. I found it beautiful, but then I thought, why do I like it so much? Why do we? It's not just me. This channel has 2 million subscribers, and all videos have hundreds of thousands of views, if not millions of views. So it's not just me. So why do we like watching this huge amount of food being cooked? What is it about big portions of food, big pots, quantity of food that is so pleasurable to the eyes and probably to the whole senses, because my mouth is watering right now? The other example that came to mind was Heston Blumenthal's fantastical feasts. I will put a link in the description below. This was a TV series in the UK, and I think there are a couple of episodes that are entirely on YouTube. So I'll put a link of one of them. In this TV series, Heston Blumenthal, in my opinion, well, my favorite 3 Michelin star chef, is wanting to create food that we all know, or maybe Brits know very well, and make it huge. So he has this, makes huge sausages, huge Christmas pudding, huge, what is it? These here, eggs and bacon, and the huge, English breakfast. And then he has a huge pot of tea where he dunks these huge biscuits that he makes, etc., etc. And wow, this light. Sorry about that. And watching that TV series is just beautiful because somehow, well, with him, we have the science and the artistry and everything, but just watching big food being made and then being eaten, there's just something very satisfying about it. And so I kept asking myself, I connected these two examples, and I asked why? Why is it that we like watching or interacting with somehow huge food, oversized food? So there's not much research about it, but I have found an article that I think it's quite interesting. It looks at the perspective of liking something that is magnified or oversized objects, but from an art point of view. I will put the link to this article in the description below. And I'm going to read you a few things so we can have a sense of what this article has to teach us. Large-scale art, especially the representational kind, evokes the uncanny in the spectator. And this is the key point, I think. It makes us feel drawn by the familiarity because we know what it is. We recognize it, like the huge food for Heston Blumenthal, huge English breakfast, for example, but also perplexed by the unknown, all contained in a single image. We know what it is. It's an English breakfast, but it's huge, so I don't understand it. Statues and sculptures in ancient Greece and Rome were thus made to be larger than life, most of them representing mythical beings, heroes and gods. So here the article is explaining how this oversizing of statues, in this case of art, was a way in ancient times to oversize, to magnify spiritual or spiritual characteristics or characteristics of somebody's personality or importance of some type. Architecture was no exception, having the pyramids and the ancient temples in mind. It appears that quite literally physical greatness has always signified great importance, as we said before. So the article is explaining how this has been happening throughout history, from art, sculpture and art, and architecture as well. The actual presence of an artifact, be it a piece of jewelry or a building, is what gives us that satisfying feeling of knowing it. We can actually tell how much space it takes up and whether it is something we can hold in our hand or something we can inhabit. Our senses react faster than our mind, informing us that something is bigger than us, stronger, greater. However, while we allow ourselves to be affected by appearances, our cognitive part works with the meaning of that which we see. Because of that, the meaning of an oversized piece can become as many different things as we dream possible. Again, it plays on what we understand, but at the same time we don't. And in the area of what is unfamiliar, somehow new, then many things can be explored in our mind. And this is what makes these objects enticing, because it triggers something in us that we kind of have to figure out and work on. So oversized stuffed sculptures of food were irresistibly touchable, just like their real-life prototypes are addictive and tasty. The spectator is now face to face with a reappropriated giant version of a meal that comes from both a joke and true statement. Precisely because of its size. It's both a joke and a true statement. You cannot ignore it, and you'd really like to touch it, but you can definitely not eat it. So this was what this artist particularly was working on. So I guess, wow, this sun. We're sorry. Well, maybe it's what kind of weird, this light, but I guess what I wanted to bring up with this video is people's innate sense of wonder that is related to big food, big objects in general. We have seen it with art, but for us, sticking to food, we can see that there is a sense of pleasure and intrigue and attraction that comes from oversized food, or sometimes oversized portions of food, as we have seen in the case of the YouTube channel I mentioned. I think this is interesting in food design because it is yet another psychological trigger that we can play with. If you think of eating design and art events, this is something we can definitely work on and play with. I hope you like this video, and let me know what you think in the comments below, because I would really be interested in starting a conversation. What is the place of oversized food in food design? How can we use it to create that level of interactive experience and emotional experience that we want to trigger in our customers? As always, have a lovely day and happy food design.